Hello everyone, it's Crystal. Today is Sunday, November 29th, 2020. I hope everyone is having a good afternoon. Sunny here in New Jersey. I hope it's sunny where you are. Today is the first Sunday of Advent. So I selected a stamp set so that fits in line with the season that we are in. But before we start, I just want to remind everyone about the catalog. There's a new mini catalog that's going to be available on January 5th. And along with that new catalog, there's going to be a celebration brochure. So this is how the celebration brochure works. For every $50 or $100 you spend in the mini catalog or the annual catalog, you can select free items from the celebration brochure. The mini catalog runs from January 5th, 2021 to June 2021. The celebration brochure runs from January 5th to February 28th. There are a lot of good items to choose from. I've already made my list. As a demonstrator, I can order from this mini catalog starting Tuesday, December 1st. So I already have my list of what I'm going to get. I have my list of celebration items that I'm going to get for free. So that's one of the benefits of being a demonstrator. You get to shop first before anyone else. So if you want this catalog and this brochure, please let me know your address by midnight tonight. If you purchased from me in the past, if you've attended one of my workshops, you're already on the list. You will receive the mini catalog and a celebration brochure. If for some reason you don't want a physical copy of it, you can tell me not to send it to you, and then you can download the PDF version of both of these documents starting January 5th. So just let me know by midnight tonight. And I want to remind you, if you want to start slow with buying paper crafting supplies, the monthly paper pumpkin for December, the deadline date to subscribe is December 10th. And the theme is Berry Comforting. So there will be enough supplies in this kit to make 12 cards. The kit comes with, it's an all-inclusive kit. It comes with the stamp set. It comes with the little ink spot. And for your very first kit, you get one of these paper pumpkin stamping blocks for your very first kit once you subscribe. And it says paper pumpkin on it right here. So just a thought. If you're interested in subscribing, feel free to visit my website, interwovencreations.crystal.com/paper pumpkin. Right? And our last announcement, save the date. I'm doing another card making workshop on Friday, January 29th, 2021. The workshop will start at 6 o'clock and run from 6 o'clock to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll happen via Zoom. If you subscribe to my mailing list, folks who are on my mailing list will get at least a 24-hour head start notice about which card kit I'm going to feature and what the registration details are. So I encourage you to join my mailing list. You can go to interwovencreationsbycrystal.com, and on that homepage, there's a link to subscribe to my mailing list. So those are our announcements. So like I mentioned, today is the first Sunday of Advent. And we are going to do the For Unto Us stamp set. This stamp set is located in the August to December 2020 mini catalog. It's on page 35. And there are 3 examples of the projects that Stampin' Up! Used to make using this stamp set. And also on that page is the Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder. And we are going to use this folder for one of our projects. So it's all working together. So the stamp set, it's a red rubber stamp set. The red rubber stamps come as one big rectangle, and then you break them up and you put the labels on. There are 9 stamps in this set. Oh, come, let us adore him, sharing with you the glory, wonder, and miracle of this holy season. Hark, the herald angels sing. Christmas begins with Christ. For unto us a child is born. Merry Christmas. Glory to the newborn King. May your heart be lifted in praise this Christmas for the wonderful gift of Jesus and the joy he brings to our lives. So that's the stamp set we'll use today. I have 2 cards that I've already created. The first card uses the Brightly Gleaming Specialty Designer Series paper. We've used this paper previously. So I'm going to show you the card, and I'm going to show you the card in the envelope and show you some more of that paper, because it's a really beautiful paper. It has copper foiling on one side of the designs. So here's our card. And this envelope is from a pack of gold envelopes that I'll show you later. It comes with gold envelopes and very vanilla card bases. So this is our card. This is 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 5 1/2. This is Night of Navy. This is Designer Series paper from the Brightly Gleaming Specialty Designer Series paper. I'm going to show you some more of that paper. This sentiment is on Whisper White cardstock. It says, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and this is gold embossing. I'm going to show you this technique after I show you the paper. This foil here is Pretty Peacock. This is actually this is discontinued, but I had it in my stash and it worked perfectly with this card, so I used it. And in the inside of the card, another piece of Very Vanilla. This is 4 by 5 1/4. I didn't say this DSP is also 4 by 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. And the sentiment is, may your heart be lifted in praise in this Christmas for the wonderful gift of Jesus and the joy he brings to our lives. And we have the little star. I didn't point that out, but yes, the star is here on the stamp set. And I have that on my envelope and on the flap of my envelope. So that's the card we'll be making. But first, after I show you the Brightly Gleaming Specialty Designer Series paper, I'm going to show you how to do embossing. I'm going to go through the technique twice just to make sure I'm clear. So that's our first card. And the paper, Brightly Gleaming Specialty Designer Series paper. The coordinating colors are Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, Pretty Peacock, and Very Vanilla. It's called specialty paper because there's foiling in the paper. Like, this is Pretty Peacock. On the other side is Pretty Peacock and Very Vanilla. there's some copper foiling on this side. So each sheet is double-sided. So you have your choice of which design you want to use whenever you're making your project. That's one. There's some stars here. And on this side, this is Night of Navy, Designer Series paper. There's some copper stars on this side, and then there's some Whisper White on this side. Another piece of Night of Navy with copper, like a geometric design. And on this side, there's Night of Navy, Mossy Metal, Very Vanilla, and some stripes. And then we have the ornaments. Very Vanilla ornaments with the pretty peacock, the Night of Navy, the Mossy Metal, some copper foiling, and then we have this Mossy Metal geometric design. And then we have this design, which is used on our first card. It has the pretty peacock, the Night of Navy, the Very Vanilla, the copper foiling. This is pretty peacock with the Night of Navy, a scrolling design. So those two designs are together. And then our final paper is Mossy Metal with the copper foiling. And then there's Mossy Metal, Night of Navy stars on a Very Vanilla background. So I decided to use this series of Designer Series paper to make my first card. And for this shape right here, I use the Stitch So Sweetly dies. I use this largest die right here to cut out the Very Vanilla to put the sentiment on. I stamped the sentiment first, and then I place the die on the paper and then ran it through my die cutting machine. And I keep my dies on this magnet sheet, very sturdy, to help me keep my dies organized. And the gold cards and envelopes I mentioned to you, these are the envelopes I use for the first card, and it comes with these card bases. There are 10 in here. I bought this to use as some of my Christmas cards. So jazz it up a little bit with the gold envelope and the Very Vanilla cardstock. So I have a couple sheets of Very Vanilla just so we could practice embossing, and then we'll put our card together. So the first thing you want to do when you want to do heat embossing, let's see, let me start with, first thing you want to do when you do heat embossing, you use, it's called an embossing buddy. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell this any longer, but you can buy it from Amazon. It has some kind of powder, like cornstarch or some kind of powder in it, and you use it to wipe your paper so that the embossing powder will stick to the area that you want it to stick to. So we're going to do Hark the Herald Angels Sing again. Take this stamp out of my case, and then I'm using the D block. I put the stamp down and then put the block over the stamp. That reduces air bubbles. So after we wipe our paper with the powder, we use Versamark. It's a thick stamp. It's a thick ink. You won't see anything it'll be like a glossy, clear image. So this is what the stamp pad looks like. And now just very, very juicy, so you don't have to press that hard. So I can press here and lift. I'm gonna do 2 of them on this paper, and then I'll do another paper, and then press down, straight up. So close this. It's very faint. I'll hold it up, but it's shining. So you can see, hark the herald angels sing. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, there you go. Hark the herald angels sing. So I'm using gold embossing powder. It comes in a small container, but I just put it in this. This was a container I had in the house. And I take this plastic spoon and I just put some embossing powder on the spoon, put it on the image, some more on the image. So, and then just hold it there for a second. And there it is. I'm going to put some more in that second image, some more directly on there. Shake it a little bit for full coverage. Hold it there for a second, and then tap the excess back into my container. All right, I have good coverage. Okay. So now I'll take my heat tool, but I'll use this clothespin because the heat tool gets very hot. So I don't want to burn my fingers. So this is my heat tool. This is not a Stampin' Up! Heat tool. Stampin' Up! Does sell this. I've had this for several years before I even became a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. But this is a heat tool. Here's on and off. There's only one. This is a little stand. And so I take my heat tool, turn it on, let it warm up for a minute. Turn on my heat tool, let it warm up for a minute or so. And then I'm going to do a circular motion. And once you see the embossing powder turn a bright gold, then you can move on to the next area. So that's what I'm about to do. So that is our first one. So we have 2 images. You can die cut it. You can use your trimmer to cut it. But there you see it's gold embossing. So I'm going to do it again, just so we're clear with the instructions. You take your cardstock, take your embossing buddy, and just wipe your embossing buddy over the top of your paper. Put your embossing buddy back. Take your stamp with your Versamark and ink up your stamp. Stamp your paper down, straight up. Ink your stamp again, down, straight up. Put your stamp to the side, close your Versamark, and put that to the side. Grab your embossing powder. I'm using gold in this example. And I'm going to just put a teaspoon or so. I've been using this a lot on each of my stamped images. Let them sit for a second. And then put the embossing powder back in the container. So, done with this. Take my clothespin. Uh-oh, I missed a spot on my heart. Missed a spot right there. Let it sit for a second. And there we go. Just check, make sure. All right. So these were just something I purchased from the grocery store. So I don't remember what was in it, but this matches my room decor. So I just typed up a label, gold embossing powder. I have white, silver, I think I have clear. So they all give you different, you get different impressions from each one. So I get my clothespin and grab my heat tool again. Do my circular motion. Once it turns gold, I move to a new area. And I turn it around to the back just for good measure. And then I turn off my heat tool. And there you have it. We have 4 images that are heat embossed. So I can do, I'm going to use those for some of my Christmas cards. So I'm just going to toss this paper because there's some embossing powder on it. Don't need a mess. So after you finish with your stamping, you take your chamois. This is just an old stamp case. All the stamp cases have this cover, so there's space between this cover and the actual case. I have some DSP. I don't celebrate Halloween, so I knew I would not use this DSP for any projects. So I had it from, I don't even know how I got it, but I have it. So I cut it down and just to use it for something, because I knew I would not be doing any Halloween projects. So just, the chamois comes purple. I sprayed it with some clear water, and I keep it in the case so that it's always moist. So there's my, cleaned off my Versamark. So I do that after I do a color change each time I do a project. This is for stamping. So that's how you do heat embossing. We did gold just now, but heat embossing powders come in a lot of different colors. So you can design a lot of different things. And I like shiny things, so I think I have all the colors. So now for our card. Here's our envelope. The 4 stamp images I just made, I'm going to cut them out, use them on the card. I'm still working on my Christmas cards. I'm doing them in stages because I have a lot to send out. So here's my card. Put that here. This is our designer series paper. There's our gold embossing. Our other envelope, same design. Here's our gold foiling. This is 4 by, I believe it's 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch by 4. This was for practice, but we did it twice. That's good enough. And this is our inside sentiment. So, may your heart be lifted in praise this Christmas for the wonderful gift of Jesus and the joy he brings to our lives. And there's my star again. So I start on the inside of my card, grab my tape gun. I put my adhesive on all 4 sides. And since this is cardstock, this very vanilla piece, I do a diagonal. And then I just place it here. And the inside is done. And for the outside, this is the brightly gleaming specialty designer series paper I mentioned to you. I showed you earlier in Pretty Peacock and Night of Navy, but we're going to use the foil side for our card. And this is just designer series paper, so I'm only going to do the 4 sides. I'm not going to do the diagonal. And make sure I got the right side. Yes. And place that down. And for the foil piece, let's see, I did it directly in the middle, so around this area. That's about half, so do 2 strips of adhesive on the 2 longer sides. And place our Pretty Peacock foil. And for the sentiment, I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals. I think I did 9 dimensionals. I did 3 across the top, the middle, and the bottom. I don't like my sentiments to sag in the middle, so I like to give it a lot of support. So those are our dimensionals. And for our sample card, I put the sentiment on the left. This time I'm going to just put it on the right side. And there's our card. So then I take my bone folder and just put a nice strong crease in so that when the recipient gets the card, it can stand up. So that is our first card. Feel free to ask me any questions if you have questions about the card, the technique, any of the supplies I've used. And here is our second card, also Night of Navy. Oh Come Let Us Adore Him. I'm using a Whisper White envelope this time to match the sentiment and the inside. So this is Night of Navy. It's 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. I have a layer here, it's probably hard to see, of Night of Navy. And that layer is 4 by 5 1/4. I used the Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder, which is this. This is how I store my embossing folders. I haven't had a chance to put a label on there yet, so I kept this so I can remember the name. This is the embossing folder. It's a 3D embossing folder, so you get a nice deep image. When you place your cardstock in whatever is going to be the front of your project, the front of the cardstock should be here on this side, the side that says Stampin' Up. This is the front, and this will be the back of your paper, your cardstock, once you take it out of the embossing machine. So this is the Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder. So I use this to get the image on the Night of Navy layer. So it's blue one, this Night of Navy on Night of Navy. This gold is from the Wonder of the Season. Wonder of the Season ribbon combo pack. There's 2 ribbons in this pack. I used this ribbon previously. I made a gatefold card on Friday, Good Friday. So this ribbon is featured in that project. And this is like a twine, a gold twine, nice and thin. So that's what this is. I don't do a lot of bows because I'm bow challenged, but I took the time and dealt with the frustration, and I made the bow. I already did it for the second card, so y'all don't have to see me struggle. Oh Come Let Us Adore Him. That's from the stamp set. And the shape is from this Hippo and Friends die set. There are more dies in the set, but the other dies that are shaped like the animals are with the stamp set. But these dies can be used for any project. So I use this largest die to cut out that shape. So Hippo and Friends die set. And these are my extras from previous projects. So, and then my wonderful gems. You've probably seen these every week. I use this is to symbolize the North Star. The inside of the card, this is the Whisper White cardstock, 4 by 5 1/4, sharing with you the glory, wonder, and miracle of this season. There's my little star again, and that's our quick card. So I have all the pieces. Let's see. My wonderful gems. So here's our piece. I've already scored it. 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Here's our envelope again. There's our stars. No naked envelopes. So this is the inside, and this is the outside. I did my bow. It was a fight. Y'all didn't want to see that, so here we go. I always start on the inside. So I take my sentiment to all 4 sides. On the diagonal. place that down. And our inside is done. Outside, you can get a better glimpse of the embossing, the trees. It's really, this is the deboss side, and this is the emboss side. Okay, so since this cardstock is embossed, I'm going to do all 4 sides. I'm going to do both diagonals just to make sure I get adhesive in all of the little nooks and crannies here. Then, so. And when I tied this twine around, I used a mini glue dot just to hold that in place so that my bow wouldn't go traveling. So put that down. So there's our card. So just want you to see the trees one more time before I cover them up. I use dimensionals on my sentiment. How is everyone coming with their Christmas cards? My goal was 60 to 70. I actually reached my goal on, I don't even know what today. Today is Sunday. I reached my goal the other day. I was doing the November 2020 paper pumpkin kit. I did some alternative designs Friday. That was Friday. It seems so long ago. Yes, I spent a lot of time in my creative space. I got a lot of things accomplished, a lot of projects I'm working on simultaneously, which is not really the smartest thing, but you know, deadlines are deadlines. So here's the sentiment. Oh, come let us adore him. This is Whisper White. The ink is Night of Navy. There are my dimensionals, and put it on the same side as the first card. And there is our second card. And let me grab my bone folder, give a nice big crease. Make sure it stands up. There you go. So, and my wonderful gems. There are 100 gems, real red, and then there's a clear with, they both have glitter, and then this has a gold glitter. So I gotta put my North Star in. Last week I lost my wonderful gems. So this is my take your pick tool. Has a pointy edge. So I just take one of the largest gems, and then I'll put it up in this corner. Press it down, and we are done. So I hope you enjoyed these projects. I just want to reiterate, if you want a copy of the mini catalog and the celebration brochure, please let me know before midnight tonight, Eastern time, and I can make sure that Stampin' Up! Will mail you both of these catalogs, the catalog and the brochure. They should be mailed around December 8th. And the paper pumpkin, very comforting, is the paper pumpkin for December. You need to subscribe by December 10th if you are interested. I would like to be your demonstrator for Paper Pumpkin. You can visit interwovencreationsbycrystal.com/Paper Pumpkin, and that tells you all the information about subscribing. It's $22 a month if you do a month-to-month subscription. Is good for children who have short attention spans. Every month they'll get a new surprise in their mailbox. If you're not ready to commit to purchasing a lot of paper goods and you just want to dip your toe in the water, that's fine. You get a stamp set, you get an ink spot, and during your first Paper Pumpkin, you get a block. And I work on my Paper Pumpkin. I usually do alternate projects, but I work on my Paper Pumpkin every month, and I can be a source of inspiration if you need it. And there's another card making workshop. I had my first card making workshop as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in October to celebrate World Card Making Day. So there's a new catalog, so there'll be some new kits. So save the date, Friday, January 29th, 2021, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you are a member of my email list, you will get a head start on the information about which kit we'll be using, what the costs are, and when you can register. There are benefits to registering early. And finally, tomorrow is the last day for the November 2020 host code. If you have a purchase and your purchase will be less than $150, feel free to use the host code. You don't have to use the host code, it's optional. I offer the host code because everyone who uses the host code in November will be entered to win a prize in my monthly drawing. So I do a drawing every month for everyone who enters the host code. It's completely optional. Not everybody uses the host code for whatever reason, but it's Frank, F like Frank, H like Harry, 2, 3, Z like Zebra, N like Nancy, 7, S like Sam. If you are going to make a purchase and your purchase will be over $150, do not use the host code. You will be eligible to redeem Stampin' Rewards during that purchase. You can go to interwovencreationsbycrystal.com/store. There'll be more information about the host code. There'll be information about what you can do if your purchase will be over $150. I walk you through that as well. And if you want the current annual catalog and the August to December mini catalog, I have links for the PDFs. You can download those for free. No strings attached. And if you like Stampin' Up! Products, you like how they coordinate, and you want to get a 20% discount, I can talk to you about how you can get a 20% discount and what that entails and how you can reap those benefits. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed these projects. I hope you are also working on your Christmas cards. I'm starting to mail mine. They will go out starting tomorrow in the mail. I reached my goal of 70. I think I have everybody covered. I hope I have everybody covered. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and happy crafting.